Hello everyone and welcome to the first part of the brand new series I've decided to record about Eador. Here we will focus on the new units we have now in game available after the release of the latest expansion, Allied Forces. In each part of this series I will focus on a different race, sometimes even on one specific unit, and try to come up with a build that will use this unit to its full potential and try to evaluate the unit, how effective it's during leveling and what's its potential for the late game. And also in the end of each video I will try to show a fight or two where you will be able to see for yourself how effective these units and the build is against some of the stronger fights in the against the stronger opponents in the late game. The first race we'll focus on are Elves, and in this case it will be only one Elven unit. It will be Elven Ranger. During the leveling I tried to use elf druids in this army as well, but I realized that each of these units requires a little bit different build to work at its peak efficiency, so I've decided to show them separately, and in this video we will talk only about elf rangers. But before we will talk about them, first I will quickly talk about the hero we'll be using for this build. It's the Commander Scout build. For obvious reason, the passive bonus you get from this build is extra damage for all your range units, so you further boost the damage of your elves, and that's the basic idea of this build. Kill everything before it can get to you, so we are boosting the damage of our rangers, or the range damage of our rangers as much as we can. You can probably use this army with any commander specialization, but I just feel that this one is the most effective. From skills we'll be using discipline and defensive tactics to give our elves some extra survivability, especially during the leveling. You sometimes get into situation where you have to take a hit, and it happened to me a few times that for example, these extra hit points from discipline saved my elf from dying, so these are quite good and you will use them in the you will need to use them from time to time. In the end game we have a bit different ways how to avoid damage, but for the leveling these are definitely a good choice. Next, range tactics. For this build, no-brainer: extra damage for all our units, extra range damage for all our units, extra ammo. This is a must-have, so definitely want to take this as fast as possible. And from the rest, leadership, extra experience for faster leveling. I don't think this is like a skill that you must have, but definitely helps to level faster. And some extra morale isn't a bad thing either. When your morale is high enough, you'll actually deal even more damage. So I've decided it's probably worth taking, and I really wanted to level as fast as possible, so not a bad skill, I have to say, and I would probably take it every time. Maneuvering, this is something you have to take because this army really needs to have as high initiative as possible. Initiative is a crucial skill for you, especially for the late game where you have to make sure that you'll be able to act first during battles, and that will allow you to kill most of the most dangerous units from the opponent's army before they will be able to move. Stamina we get from this is also important because we will get the access to double shot, and double shot is pretty expensive stamina wise, so extra stamina from this also helps with that quite a lot. And extra mobility, it's never a bad thing to be able to move around the map a little bit faster, so maneuvering is something you definitely want to take. These are all skills we level to level 3 from the commander side. Let's move to the scout side. First, reaction, really important, gives us extra initiative. As I already said, we need our initiative as high as possible, so that's the reason why we are taking this, why it's so important. These other stats we get from this are nice, but are not that crucial, but because we have to take this anyway, it's a nice boost. Second, skill marksmanship and also archery are important for the same reason. You'll be using this hero as an important source of damage during combat, and therefore we need to boost his range attack as much as possible, and both archery boost that and give you some extra ammo, and range defense give you range attack as well, and also increase your range. So skills you must have. And the last skill, I would say that is something you should strongly consider, almost a must-have, is a pathfinding for the forest, hill, and swamp knowledge, because it helps a lot on both on the world map and on the battle map. On the world map you can either it's either easier to chase opponents' heroes around the map, or when you have to run away from them it's easier when you are not slowed down by the terrain. Also gives you extra mobility, so it's making it even easier. And on the battle map it's even more important when you need to move your units. You are not slowed by the terrain, and quite often this can even save the life of your units, so a skill that you really should take. For the two remaining skills, scouting and level 1 offensive tactics, scouting probably is not important because you don't get anything that decent from this. Here I decided to take it because for a while I was using this hero for exploration purposes, so thanks to the extra exploration he was more effective with that. But I have to say that here you can take whatever you want. Same with offensive tactics probably. If you want looting and diplomacy, for example, instead, doesn't really matter. I've chosen the offensive tactics to boost my Hydra a little bit, but +1 attack for tier 4 units, that's almost like nothing. So here you can choose really whatever you want, and this won't affect the army at all. Maybe if you have this as a main hero, taking looting instead of scouting, for example, might be a good idea, because then you will get some better rewards from your fights, which probably isn't a bad thing. Okay, so that's our skills. About our items, the most important, or two most important things we have to focus on is are our weapons. You always should get as strong weapon as you can. Use the strongest weapon you have available. Here I'm using Ranver's bow and Ranver's arrows as probably the strongest combination in the game for ranged weapon. As I said, we'll be using our hero as a strong damage dealer, so this helps with boosting the ranged attack of our hero. And the second important thing is to further boost the ranged damage of our units. And for that, in the late game, I'm using Eagle Pennant that gives +2 ranged attack to our whole party. This is awesome for the late game, where we get some utility skills that help us with survivability. But during the leveling, I would actually say that it's probably better to grab a different banner that gives you some extra hit points and maybe some extra stamina, because during the leveling, before you get all the special abilities rangers have available, you might have sometimes problems in some fights when you will be taking some damage that you don't have enough hit points. Also, because this is one-handed banner, we can use a shield here. It doesn't really matter what you use, just take whatever you have available. Sometimes your hero will have to take a hit or two, so some extra defense isn't a bad thing, but it's not that crucial. Same with other things, nothing really important. Even for the late game, in the late game I'm still using the veteran set, which really isn't that strong. The only reason why I'm using this is the boost to army experience, so I can level up even faster. But if you don't have this, or want to make your hero even more effective, even stronger during fights, I would consider items that further boost your ranged damage, like these sharpshooter's gloves, or give you more initiative, like Griffin's helmet or boots of speed, and also boost the ranged attack of the whole army even further, which this Griffin helmet can do. So this is one of the better items you can get for the build, probably the best helmet you can get for this army. From the rest, again, either items focused on survivability or range damage, like the Topaz Bracelet, or some other utility items like the Amulet of Storm to give my whole army extra movement speed or extra moves during the during battle. Sometimes this can help a lot and save some of your units when you can run away from danger. Rings, you can see that I don't have anything special. I never felt like need to actually focus on my rings. There are not any special rings for this build. If you really want to boost your hero as much as possible, I'd probably grab 4 ruby rings. Ruby rings give you 4 hit points and 2 stamina. So grab those 4 times, and that's probably the best setup you can get. Spells, we don't have access to that many spell slots, only 7 slots together. Tier 1 and Tier 2, only two Tier 2 spells. What we are using here, I'm using 2 webs and 1 sleep, but this is more like a remnant from the leveling, because during the leveling you sometimes need to slow down a unit or 2, so web and sleep are probably the best options for that, but in the end game you probably don't need these anymore and you can replace them, but I never felt the need to replace them because most of the time you are shooting with your hero anyway and not casting spells. The only spells you will cast even in the end game from time to time are Astral Energy, especially on your Hydra. Hydra that can attack twice per turn. Thanks to the Astral Energy, is just awesome, can do a lot of damage, and also will allow the Hydra to move further in the combination with haste that gives the Hydra extra mobility. You can basically run all over the map in one turn with this combination of spells, get to the opponent, use the Hydra as a tank for all the units, and that means that all your rangers will be safe far away from the opponent and will be just destroying him from range, while he will focus on the Hydra that can survive really a lot of damage. The last spells we have is a Phantom Form. Quite important spell for this build. Sometimes you want to be able to do anything to prevent like some strong units from getting to one of your rangers, and Phantom Form can save his life with the boost to the defenses. And sometimes you will even have to use it on Hydra, because in some of the toughest fights there is so much damage that even a Hydra with its 200 hit points has problems surviving that, and from time to time I had to use Phantom Form on my Hydra to actually allow it to survive. So this is our spell setup, and let's quickly have a look on the army composition. Here we are using only range, elf rangers, with the exception of 2 units, that is cleric for the how it's called, resurrection spell that he gets during the leveling. I don't have it yet, but I hope I'll still get it, and that gives you the chance to revive your units in case you, even with all these spells and all the skills that rangers have, accidentally one of your units dies, so you can resurrect it, which can be sometimes really important, and the earlier you get it for your cleric the better. Sometimes it takes a while, but I think that cleric is a unit that has its place in almost any army. So that's one. And second, the Hydra. Even this army needs some tank that can run forward and take some hits, especially in the very late game against the toughest opponents. Hydra is quite important. As I already said, over 200 hit points, very strong attack. You will often cast haste on the Hydra on the first turn and then run to the opponent as fast as possible. So you will take all the damage with the Hydra, and your elves will be safe and shooting from behind. So that's the build, items, spells, and army composition. And now let's have a detailed look on our Elven Rangers. For that I'll probably build outpost in this province, so we can go there and show one elf without the bonus from our commander. So what's the important difference between rangers and normal elves? Well, their hit points and like defenses are not that different. We have the same amount of hit points as normal elves on level 30. Our defenses are a bit better, but when we are talking about the end game, like if you have defense of 2 or defense of 3 and you get hit by a tier 4 unit, it doesn't really matter. So No huge improvement here. We have a bit better offensive melee offensive stats, but this is again as elf only a range unit basically, so you are not gonna use this that often. The good thing is we are getting a lot of resistance promotions, and I think that we're actually getting more resistance promotions for rangers than for normal elves, so you can boost your resistance quite a lot, and that's the first important thing, because sometimes you can't avoid some hits from strong casters like warlocks, and high resistance prevents them from one-shotting you. So don't underestimate the resistance, and boost it when you get the option to get, for example, double resistance promotion. Use that, and it will save you a lot of trouble. But the most important is our ranged attack. The ranged attack, I think it's a bit stronger than from normal elves. It's not a huge difference, but I think you can get like 1 or 2 more points to ranged attack compared to elf. So you can see we have a range like of 15 for tier 1 units. It's really strong, and we still have double shot available, so we can shoot twice, and this is before we get the bonus from the hero, so it's really a lot for tier 1 units, and I almost would say that it's too much for tier 1 units, but these are elves, so elves should be strong in the range combat, and that we definitely are. Next thing is our range. You actually don't start with the range of 7, you start with the range of 5, but during the leveling you get the option to get double range promotion, and this is one of the most important thing for this unit. So when you see double range promotion, take it. The range of 7 will allow you to shoot almost any unit on the battle map, and it's extremely important, so very important thing to increase the range as soon as possible. Our ammo, we don't start with ammo of 9, but we don't have to invest into ammo that much. I think it's fine when you end up with 8 ammo. Even in the end game, you probably are not gonna need more than 8 arrows for any fight, so taking more is actually an overkill, and you will even get extra shot from the bonus from your hero. So as long as you have 8, you should be fine. Our medals, there's basically only option is Order the Marksman. There is nothing better. So anytime you see the option to take it, do it, because sometimes it's a bit tricky to get them, and you can see that I still have some elves, they don't have a single medal. So use the option to get the medal every time you can. And let's go to our skills and properties. The same as elves, we have double shot, forest knowledge, fire arrows, and precise shot. Double shot, it's actually not that important in the early game, so sometimes I've even grabbed, for example, ranged attack over double shot, but make sure that you will have double shot for all your elves for the end game. It gives you a lot of extra burst damage, and you will definitely need that against some of the strongest armies. Forest knowledge, we get this from free right from the start, so we are even more effective in the forest. Why not? Everything that's for free is good. Next we have fire arrows and precise shot. We can boost this during leveling. Quite often we'll get the option to get this as a level up, so I've focused on the range damage of my rangers as much as possible. So this was a high priority for me, and I have to say I do not regret this. It improves the damage a lot, and you will see that my elf rangers can do really a lot of damage. We have 2 more skills which are new. These 2 are not available to elves, and this improve our survivability a lot, and these 2 skills, especially stealth, solve the problem of elves before this expansion, that they were a bit too fragile for the toughest fights. Parry, not that important, but sometimes you get the level up fairy, for example, have parry together or against morale, and in this case I always take parry, because sometimes you can't avoid the melee hit, and that bonus from parry is actually quite significant, and I have to say that parry saved my life in some fights, for example against vampires, where I wasn't able to prevent the vampire from coming to me. So yeah, sometimes you can take the parry, and maybe you can even prioritize it from time to time for some elves that will be standing in the front line. It definitely helps a lot, and you can stack it quite high. I think you can get to parry like 8, and parry of 8 definitely means a lot of extra melee defense. But we have one more skill, and that's the most important one, much more important than parry and much more effective than parry. It's stealth. Um, when we activate stealth, we basically disappear from the map. We are not visible to the opponent anymore, at least in single player, and this gives us the best survivability we can get. Are you too close to something? Can't you avoid a melee hit or something? Just disappear from the map, and that's the best way how to mitigate the damage. The first time I've seen this skill on thieves, I already seen the potential of the skill and how overpowered it is, and now on a unit like Elf Ranger, it becomes even more overpowered, and this basically allows you to kill anything you find without losing units. And I'll show one fight where it wouldn't be doable without this skill. At least it wouldn't be doable without losses, without using this skill. So extremely strong, and this is the skill that makes rangers super strong. So these are our rangers, and let's actually move him into the army and have a look at him when he's in the army. You can see that some of his stats are a bit higher, but most importantly his ranged attack is now 23, and ranged attack of 23 for the T1 unit is just ridiculous. And you can probably already imagine how much damage these guys will be able to do with double shot. So this is the description of our rangers, and I should probably talk a bit about how you can get them. As all the units from the Allied Forces expansion, to get these new units you first need to get the alliance with the appropriate race, in this case with Elves, of course. It's actually not easy to get alliance with Elves. You need two things for that. First thing is you need a lot of good karma to be able to even get a chance for the alliance. So if you want to go with Elves, make sure that you are going after good decisions and work on your karma as much as possible. Second thing is, after you get enough karma to get the chance for the alliance, you will go into Elven province and negotiate, and they will give you a quest to save some Elven girls that were kidnapped by some evil magicians, and they are somewhere in the Mage's Tower. So you need to find the location called Mage's Tower, and you have to kill the guard there, and after that there is a chance that you will finish the quest, that you will find those elves you are looking for, but it's not guaranteed. Sometimes you have to clear more Mage's Towers to finish this quest, so don't be surprised after you clear the first Mage's Tower that you have not finished the quest yet. One thing I should probably say here is I've seen many times that on forums that people think that you need to have diplomacy skill to be able to get this quest. It's not true. For example, here on this chart, I have finished the quest with this hero, and as you can see, I don't have diplomacy. All you need to have is karma high enough, so those elves will be able to negotiate with you. So this is how we get them, and now how we level them, and how we level this army. Because it takes some time to finish this quest. I'm starting this build as a normal commander melee build with either barbarians or swordsmen. And I use this melee build until level 10, where I pick my specialization, and at level 10, where you usually have the quest finished already, I swap to the full ranged build. Also during those 10 levels I try to get ranged tactics to level 3, so I can boost my ranged units as much as possible when I get them. On level 10 I give all the melee units I've been using to another hero, and hire elves into all available unit slots, and go only with elves until the end game. Every time I get a command promotion I grab a new elf, and until the very late game I'm using only elves all the time. I have to say that once you get to level 10 and start using your elves, you don't have any problems with leveling. It's extremely easy, extremely fast. Just be careful when you are choosing your targets. Some armies that have a lot of fast units or a lot of strong casters are not a good thing. You should focus on armies like, for example, big troll armies, or let's say slugs. These armies are ideal target for you, are extremely easy to kill and give a lot of experience and make the leveling really easy. One specific unit that will cause trouble for this army are ghosts, and just avoid armies with ghosts. Ghosts have range defense of 40 and high resistance, so you just can't do any damage to them, and if your hero can't do magic damage, you just can't kill them. So you should probably skip undead armies with this build and leave those for another hero, like for warrior, who is usually quite strong against those. But that's the only unit that's really causing trouble, and I never felt like I'm running out of good targets. So as I said, the leveling was really fast, it's enjoyable, and one of the easiest army for leveling, I have to say. So this was the leveling, and I think this is all I wanted to talk about, and now we can show how the army really works during combat. So let's get to that, so you'll be able to see how strong these units actually are in action. For that I'll have to move a bit, and first what I will show is one of the toughest endgame locations. Many armies have problems with that, especially doing that without losses. You will see it once I get rid of all these events I have now. Come on, okay, and I should probably just cancel all these actions with my other heroes on this shard, so it will be a bit faster. Our target will be Cult of the Dragon. Usually armies, especially with a lot of tier 1 units, tier 1 or tier 2 units, have problems doing this without losses. So let's see how we'll be able to handle this with our army. Come on. The problem with this army is there is a lot of fast units that can get to in one turn, and they have extremely high attack, so they can start one-shotting your units really early in the fight, and you have to somehow avoid this problem. So what we can do with this army, we just solve this very simply. We just kill everything that could cause trouble before it can get to us. This is the reason why we need a high initiative, so we can act first during the fight before the dragon will be able to fly to us. So let's do it. We will start with the hero and try to kill the dragon before he can do anything. Do we have enough damage for that? Sure. These guys are so strong that they can kill a fire dragon before he can do anything. So that's almost there. You can't reach him, so let's focus on these griffins. These griffins also have quite high damage, so we not only have to kill the dragon on the first turn, we also have to kill them. So let's do that. Dragon is down, and now we can start shooting other units. This guy is not in the range of griffins, so let's just shoot this turtle back. What about you? You are in range, so you will shoot. You can finish the turtle back. This guy doesn't have the range promotion yet, so he can shoot only this guy. So let's do it. And we have 2 more elves left, which is exactly what we need to kill these griffins. Okay, so you can see Cult of the Dragon, one of the toughest locations in the game. It's done in 2 turns. In 1 turn we have killed all the strong units, and for the second turn, when these guys stop casting, come on, we will easily kill the rest. You can shoot this. I probably don't need to use double shot anymore, but just to make sure that we kill everything. Okay, you can't reach anything, and these guys will finish these 2 remaining monks. So, not bad for an army that's basically using only tier 1 units. In this fight we were not using our Hydra or Cleric at all. It was just hero and tier 1 units, and we managed to kill the Cult of the Dragon with level 17 Fire Dragon in 2 turns without any problems. So pretty good. What about some rewards? You will get precise shot. Here I will go for precise shot as well. You will get more ammo, and here definitely better to take willpower 2. And for a reward, boots of speed, Hydra's egg, conjurer's ring, really good items. And I think my inventory is full already, so I will have to replace some of this. Maybe I don't want to take boots of speed anymore. Or actually, why not? They are definitely better than anything I've removed. So you can see that this build is really effective in farming endgame locations to get all these super strong endgame items. But let's show one more fight. What happens when we can't kill all the dangerous units in one turn and we actually have to somehow survive their attacks? Can we do that? For that I have another target I want to show. Again, it will be a location that's usually a problem for almost all armies. Come on, let's go through these events, and it will be these giants. Let's go after them. And when you see the army, you will see the problem. Come on, end the turn. 9 of them, ogres, giants, cyclops, fire giants. They look pretty impressive when you see them on the map, and the problem is we can't kill all these giants in one turn. They have a strong range attack, so we have to do something to save our rangers from their ranged attacks. For this, we will have to use some of our new abilities, or we will have to use our one new ability, the stealth, so we will disappear from them. What we have to do is we have to check their range. They have movement of 2, so they can move 1 tile and shoot. So let's say this guy can move one tile forward, and then he will be in range 2, 4, 5 of this elf, and it's the same for these two guys. When they move forward and shoot, they will be in the range of this elf. So if you get into a situation like this where you can't kill them before they would start killing your elves, just hide those elves that are in danger. Now when they are in the stealth mode, they are invisible and they can't be attacked. So basically, problem solved. Now we can start shooting. All these guys that are far enough can start doing damage to everything that is in range. Of course, I will focus on those giants. I want to get rid of them as fast as possible. This guy is safe, so let's keep shooting. Here you can't reach giants, so you'll shoot something else. And here, let's just shoot anything that's in range. Don't worry, we have enough damage to kill all of these units basically before they'll be able to get to us. You'll shoot this guy, and here we will need a tank, so we will use our Hydra here as well. So let's move it forward, and it will slow them down enough to allow us to kill them without problems. You can see that they're attacking the Hydra. It's taking quite a lot of damage, but because it has over 200 hit points, it can easily survive. And we can even help it with our cleric, so let's heal it a bit, move it forward and start the attacking like this. Okay, so first attack, and now let's actually check what do we have to kill. We really have to kill these two ogres because they are in the range of our rangers, but that shouldn't be a problem. Let's just focus on them. 1, 2, 3, this should be enough, I would say. Yes. And you can kill this guy. Okay, problem solved. These guys are still invisible. Once you activate the stealth, you don't have to reactivate it. It doesn't have any given duration. You just stay invisible as long as you want. So these guys are still in danger, so I will keep them invisible. And keep shooting with the remaining units. You can finish the first giant. You will finish this guy. You can shoot this giant. What else? Is he dead already? Not yet. So let's finish him. You can shoot this cyclope, and this means that this guy is not in danger anymore, so I can shoot at him as well. And let's do some damage here, and the hero can do some damage to the giant. This guy is still in danger, so he will stay invisible. and we can easily finish this fight without problems. 1, 2, 3. Let's heal a bit, and let's give these last hits to our elves. Okay, fight's over. How long was that? 3 turns to do around 1300 damage. Not bad, I have to say, for a tier 1 army. Okay, what about level ups? Precise shot for you. Hydra will get double attack. You will get double resistance, and again sharpshooter's gloves and destroyer, pretty decent items. So as I said, this is extremely good build for farming these endgame items. You can get a lot of those really easily without any problems. Uh, and even fights where you have more than one dragon, for example, which is probably the hardest fights you can get in the game, are not a problem as long as it's not more than probably 4 of them. I think that come on, finish this event already. When you level this army to a level 30, you have all your ranger on level 30, and all of them have 3 medals. They will have enough damage to kill 4 dragons in 1 turn. So up to that strength you can easily kill anything without losing units. And I think that if you are willing to accept some losses, you can probably kill even more dragons in one fight. I think 6 dragons is doable with this army as long as you are willing to accept the loss of like 2 or 3 units. But again, we are using basically only tier 1 units. So we are talking about army with only tier 1 units capable of killing like 4, 5, 6 dragons without losing units almost. That's just crazy, and I have to say that elves are now super strong, and it was really fun playing them. And I'm looking forward for some more units from Allied Forces. If they have potential like this, then we have a lot of fun in front of us. But we'll see about that in the next part of this series. I'm not sure what the next race I'll focus on will be. I'll have to think about that, and also it will depend on which alliances I will have available on my next chart, because I can't get another alliance on this chart anymore. But as I said, we'll see about that, and I hope you like this video, and join me for the next one, for the next race we will focus on. Until the next part, have a good time, and bye bye.